Hey guys, it's Sandy Freshy, professional life coach and human design specialist. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Now, I just have a couple of quick things to share with you. Actually, it's a revelation and a little story about why it's so darn hard to wait. So I know that most of you who are following me right now are familiar with human design, and you know that you have either a strategy to wait for invitations or to wait for something in your environment to respond to. But if you just happen to stumble on this video and you don't know anything about human design, don't worry about it, because this little piece of information, if you're waiting for something in your life, is going to be really valuable for you. So here's what I discovered after a couple of crazy days last week that really didn't have to be that crazy. I discovered that when you're in the process of waiting, it creates this vacuum in your life. It's like it creates this big empty space for possibility to come in. And what you do with that space while you're waiting determines what shows up next. So here's what happened. Last week I made a critical decision to simplify the focus in my business and to really just concentrate on my clients that I have now and communicating with you guys through YouTube and Facebook and my blog and all of those channels that are out there to connect so that we can get to know each other a little bit better. And when I did that, it took a whole lot of stuff off my plate, because I had things planned that I was working on for the fall, and a book I was writing, and a program I was putting together, and I was even ready to launch something until last week when I realized that I needed to consolidate my focus and simplify. So initially what happened is I felt this great relief, like, okay, this is all I have to do. I just need to focus on my blog post, focus on communicating with you guys, whether you're watching me on YouTube or communicating with me through Facebook or my blog, or whether you're seeing me as a client. That's all I have to worry about. So I took this big sigh of relief and sunk into the space, and I started to get anxiety. And it was anxiety that came from the old conditioning of, if I have time, I need to be doing something. It's like I was uncomfortable with the empty space. And what was driving that was this insecurity, because I realized that what shows up gives me feedback about how well I'm doing. So in me, there's conditioning around proving my worth, my identity, the way that I work, all of those things. And I hadn't realized up until that point how connected I still was to that outside stuff. So what that set off for me was this couple of days of exploring different opportunities and different possibilities, and how can I fill my time, and running around. I even went back to my old day job and picked up some hours because I was so uncomfortable with all this empty space in my life. So after I had exhausted myself from my day job and had pretty much exhausted looking at all of these other opportunities, I realized what was going on. And I got myself back into balance and journaled about all of that. I'm a big believer in journaling. And if you work with me, you know that. I always, have you keep a journal. And it really helped me to get clear on what needed to happen next in the space. And it just goes back to keeping it simple, feeling the joy in my life, taking care of myself, and trusting that the path is unfolding as it needs to unfold. So here's a question for you. If you're in this process of waiting, what are you filling your space with as you're waiting for things to show up? Because as I said in the beginning, what you fill that empty space with determines what shows up next. And from my little adventure last week, you can see that what showed up next was some chaos and exhaustion and crazy stuff that, had I allowed it to continue, really would have taken me off my path. So ask yourself in this waiting space, am I cluttering it with unnecessary things that I don't enjoy? And trust that if you begin to clear that away, what's next that's really right for you is going to show up. So I hope this helps you out, and I hope it helps you to chill a little bit in your waiting process so that you can really enjoy your life and get prepared for the next great thing that's around the corner. So until the next time, take really great care of the space you've created while you're waiting.